Hey guys, I'm Andrew Townsend with eLearning Brothers. This video is a recording of our webinar, Best Practices for Setting Up Captivate Projects. If you enjoy the kind of content we're creating here on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video, or leave a comment. And if you haven't already, check out our new free trial at elearningbrothers.com. Thanks so much, and we hope you enjoy this presentation. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. Sorry we're starting just a touch late here. My name is Andrew Townsend, I'm with eLearning Brothers, and today in our webinar we're going to be discussing best practices for setting up Captivate projects. This webinar will be recorded. We'll get a copy of it sent out to everyone who's in attendance, and we'll also post it on our blog later in the week so that you can come back and view that as you need. If you have questions during the webinar, we'll be ready to answer those questions in the questions panel, and I'll try to bring some of those up to our presenter as well. It looks like a couple of you have already found that questions panel, so please do use that to participate and voice your thoughts. Just so you know, one of the things that we like to do after the webinar is follow up as soon as possible. Sometimes it's just to get feedback. Most of the time we would like to touch base and see if anybody needs some one-on-one clarification on the webinar topic after the fact. All right, so to talk about Captivate, we have Alan Marquez, one of our Captivate developers, with us today. Thanks so much for joining us, Alan. We're excited to hear what you have to say. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn the time over to you, Alan.
Okay, guys. Well, good morning, good day, everyone. So today we would like to talk about a little bit about Captivate. So when you start a Captivate project, there are a lot of things that you miss sometimes, like how to set up a document from the start, and how the right way to set things up will help you along all the way of your development. So for starters, let's create a new document. Captivate. You can create one directly from here, from the new project. And let's use for this webinar responsive project, because we are going to tackle some of the responsive options on this one. The first thing that we see here is that we are using fluid boxes. Today we're not going to talk about fluid boxes. That maybe will be maybe for another webinar, because we're going to talk about the breakpoints on the responsive mode. Why? Because if you're new to Captivate, this is way easier. I mean, you can start working with fluid boxes, but it will feel more natural if you start working with breakpoints, since you're going to develop for another devices like tablets or mobile phones. But where is this option? This option is hidden in Captivate 2017. So you have to go to project and you have to switch to breakpoint mode. You will have to save this document first. Let's say webinar 3. Now I can go to project, switch to breakpoint mode. Okay. Yeah, it happens. And it will remove the fluid boxes. So don't worry about it. Yeah, now we have our breakpoints. This is very, very important. So for starters, you only have three views: the desktop, the portrait tablet, and the mobile tablet. We're going to add 2 more: the landscape tablet and the mobile landscape mode. So this feels more natural. It will come full responsive after we created all of our elements. So you can disable this option that says this device shape. It's a bit annoying sometimes, but you can disable it. You can see it now. Okay, that's awesome. So what is important when you're starting a new document? It is important that you have a style guide. Maybe this is not common practice, or maybe you know about this, but if you have this kind of content from your designers, this will help you a lot, and this will save you a lot of time. You have certain indications here, like what's the font for titles, another title, subtitles, copy of text, and color. This will help us throughout the development of this template. And I'm going to show you how in a minute. So remember, this is our webinar best practices for setting up Captivate projects.
Hey, Alan, really quickly, before you move in too far, we're
Yeah.
getting a couple questions about versions here. Is this only
Okay.
for Captivate 2017?
Yeah, because in Captivate 2017 we have the fluid boxes. This is the latest feature that was added. So we're not gonna cover fluid boxes, just breakpoints, and you can still use breakpoints in Captivate 9 also. So yeah, no problem if you have
Okay, so
Captivate
if
9.
they're on Captivate 9, the breakpoint options are still going to be there, but not the fluid boxes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so what's next? Choosing the right file size. Okay, so for this, the purpose of this webinar, we're going to be using the standard sizes that we have here. We're not going to change this. Of course, you can change it. You can add another, size. That's up to you. But we're going to go with the standard size. Why? Because in a way, Captivate knows uh, how this will fit better on your screens, right? Because if you have different devices, like if you have iPhones or Android cell phones or another, like, I don't know, Motorola, the screen size will be different. So if we use the standard sizes that Captivate has given to us, it's going to be way easier when we develop the responsiveness of this. So you can go with the standard. There's no big issue here. We'll talk about this later when we publish this course. Okay, so as I mentioned to you before, this is important to have these style guides. Um, I will have this screen next to me, and you will only see this one for the moment. Okay, so this is the first caption or the first layer of text that we have in a document. So we're not going to change this for now. We're going to go to the properties panel and we're going to open the master slide view. This is really important. We at eLearning Brothers always try to work from master slide. This is going to be a lot easier if you start developing your own courses and you want to have uniformity across everything you are developing. This is the best way to start a course, working with the master slides. And what can you do here? Well, for starters, you have a title. Okay, this is simple thing. And we're going to work with the styles because we have some styles that are already added, but maybe we don't like these styles. Why? Because we have our own style guide. So let's say that we're going to use this as the main title. I'm going to change to Open Sans font. I'm going to set it in bold. Okay, color, it doesn't matter for now which color we will using. Okay, and we have to save this style. This is going to help us later. Let's create a new star on this contextual menu, and let's say main title. Okay, so we have our first title here. And we have another slide here. It says blank, but it can you can add new ones and you can change the name of it. We'll see that in a second. Let me see how this is set up first. Okay, we can have this one just here. So one of the things that I came across while I was putting this webinar together is how to handle the size of an element. For example, our title, how it would look in a different view. For now, it looks good, but what will happen if we switch to landscape mobile view? Okay, it will not look good, right? We have to change the size. We have to decrease the size, let's say by 24 or maybe 20 because it's a title. Okay, you can see how is this looks natural, but sometimes it won't look natural. We have to learn how to make it look natural. For example, if you change here the size for a looks jumpy. This is not good. This is bad practice. We have to standardize this. And let's say you change color because, I don't know, you mess up a bit and you change the color and you didn't notice. How we can solve this? There's uh, a simple way. You have to right click on your title or your graphic. 1 second. Yeah, this is not going to work on this because I'm using a shape. Okay, no big issue. I will show you this in another slide. Let's just change this again to the correct size. I return to the separams. See this plus sign on the style. You have to save changes to this existing style, because if you don't save it, it will look broken. It will be broken. Okay, let's add a fill to this shape and change it. Okay. Remember, we're working on our master slide from the title. And say I change the color and the style also changed, so I have to save these changes. And it looks good for now. Okay, let's close this. If I have a slide, I'm using a master slide, it's titled, but the change hasn't been applied yet. You have to just click reset master slide and it will change. See, the title was here, now it's here. And you can change the title. You probably know this already, but let's start for the simple things first. For example, this one. After I added my own text into my smart shape, um, it activates secondary options. It activates these 3 options I will show you in a minute. See, this is another color. That was I was mentioning you before. So how can I copy these properties to the all views without, you know, out manually changing? Okay, you can just right click on this. You can say apply position properties to all views, and it will fit everything in the same place. But also, if you click apply text and text properties to all views, yeah, it will change to the original one. And you can change this manually. This is, trust me, a time-saving tip. I actually use it a lot. The main objective of this webinar is to speed up things. You know, sometimes when you have a big course with a lot of slides, a lot of information, you need to have like 3 or 4 styles used throughout your course, like for your titles, your subtitles, your copy of text. And if you set these things from the start, it will make your course or your development really, really smooth, especially in Captivate. Let me add another information here. Let me use this blank. Let's duplicate, okay? Because you can delete all of your master slides, so you need to have like this one always. Let me create another graphic quickly. Okay, let's add some color on this. Okay, for example, it says the follow smart shape style. Okay, I choose a darker color. If I save this style that I will use as a header, all the new shapes that I create will have this color. So why? Because I saved the default smart shape style. But if I don't want this to happen, you have to create a new style, and let's say header. Okay, I will remove this stroke and I will save again this style. So we have to differentiate between a smart shape and text caption. For example, now I'm using a smart shape to create titles, but you can also add text caption to create your own titles. See, but I don't recommend to add text caption in the master slide because they will stay locked in the master slide and you will not be able to move or control them after you apply them. So what we'll do is to insert placeholder objects and let's add titles. See, this is the best way to add your own titles. Now that I'm increasing the size of this, you will see that it's acting, it's not looking uniform. It's like growing in a diagonal way. I will talk about that in a minute. Let me change this color and use the font. Okay. This is really important because the way that this is added will affect our title or text box. And I'll talk about smart positioning, which is really important. I will see just a bit of this, but you will get the point. Why is important to add smart positioning when you are using responsive mode? It will tie everything together. You won't have spare elements, or your elements won't move from your stage. It keeps your elements together, and this is a great tool. You should use it. I totally recommend it. And we're going to use auto on object size or options, text boxes. I do not recommend to use automatic. We will always go with percentage or pixels. I will show you the difference in a minute. Why? Because if I want to make this like 80% of my total stage, let me align this a bit. Okay. It will respect the 80% from the other view, like the landscape tablet view. It will respect. So this is important. It will not move. It's also respecting this and will also respect this. But it's a bit larger. Let me adjust this. If you say 85, it will also respect 85. If this happens, you can change this to 100% and see, it will fit perfectly. Of course, when you have a smaller device, you can change this. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that looks great. And you create a new one. Like header. Remember, we're still on master slides.
So Alan, another question has come up. At the very beginning, you changed your display so that it wasn't just sliders, but you have the actual desktop and phone options there. How did you set that up? How did you switch from the slider to your current view?
1 second. Do you mean this one?
So at the top, you're right there in desktop mode. And then next to it, you have a phone mode, and then you have a vertical phone mode. But if you don't have those displays and you're only seeing the slider, how did you find those? How do you move on?
Yeah, you could, when you don't have these icons, you'll have a plus sign that you have to click, and I will automatically create the landscape tablet and the mobile tablet here
so
and
you'll
here.
click a plus sign and you'll have options to select?
Yeah, automatically, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, they want to hear
another question here is, when you're setting up that desktop view, for example, Why make the box so big? Won't it automatically grow when you type the text? Why are you setting up the box to be a certain size there?
Oh yeah, because let me try to show you this better. Let me see if we can. If you're trying to fill the space of your stage and you use automatic, it will not always work great. Now it's working good, but it will decrease when you move to your next view, right? So if you change it to percentage, it will respect the height that was used in the previous slide. Okay, for me this is better than use auto because I can manage better my elements. You know, it's up to you guys. Really, it's up to you. But for me, it's always work better with titles. If you use another shape that I will show you in a minute, it will make sense better. But for titles, I'd rather use my own, you know, settings that use auto. Does that answer the question? Sorry.
I think so. I think that answers it. One other question here before we move on.
Yeah.
If you don't start your project in responsive mode, is it possible to change it into responsive mode once you've started working?
That's really a good question. You can copy your project. You can create a new responsive project, just like I did at the beginning, and you can paste your non-responsive project in it, and it will create a project responsive, but it will not be, like well adjusted. It will be all scattered. Uh, to be honest, that's the last thing I remember about it. We can check that. We can circle back with that question. It's a good one.
Sure.
I have forgotten about it. Yeah, we'll let you know, guys.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so let me create a new slide from my bank here. Uh, I will use blank. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I created this from my master slide, and I can change the title. It's a webinar. One second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, you can also add another placeholder objects like subtitles, for example. And let's change the font to Open Sans. Bold and make it this color. Okay, let's save it. Subtitle. And okay, same thing. You have to switch to percentage, so it will stay in place, right? And let me decrease this number. Okay, looks good for now. But I don't want it centered. I want it aligned. Okay, this and save it. Let me reset this one. Okay, it was added. Okay. Let me just add another text. So when I copied this text, my format was lost, my style was lost. What happened with what you have to? What's the next step if it happened? Okay, you just have to go to your style name and click the reset style, and it will go back to the original one. So this is good. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna be using more master slides for now. We'll create just two ones for this webinar. We don't have enough time. And now we can create our own text captions, right? See, this is super easy. This is super. Okay, let's say Open Sans, regular, And let's add another. Okay. I will explain what I'm doing this. Okay. So as I mentioned before, if you save this style, this that was already here, every time that you create new text captions, it will use the same font, and this will save you a lot of time when you create new text caption boxes or just lines. So it's a good practice if you save this from the very beginning. I forgot to do that from the very beginning, but now we're here. That's what I'm telling you. Please do this. Set your default caption style from the very beginning. This is gonna save a lot of time. Okay, now that we have this, let me paste some text in this. Okay, and let's see what happened. See, that's what I don't like the automatic, because it will crop my text. You can see it now. But if you change it to percentage, it was respected. Let me make this a bit bigger. Not that bigger. At 50, yeah, it looks better. But still I need a bit more space. Let's add extra space. Okay, it's still 60%, but while you're shrinking it on the side, it will also affect the remaining text. So that's why maybe you need to make this a bit bigger on there you go. Yeah. This will make sense when we publish. I'll show you. Looks good here. Okay, this doesn't look good here. Let me change this. Save. The goal is to don't make this look jumpy. If this doesn't look jumpy, it will look great on your mobiles devices. Yeah, it doesn't look jumpy at all. Okay, so next, let me import an image from the panel. Let's add this image. When you add images that are a bit larger, you can, instead of decreasing or making it smaller with this, you can go to the position panel and start making it smaller with this option. It will be more precise. So just a tip. Let's say I want it like 25. There you go. It doesn't matter if it's come off the stage. I will show you the difference between having the top position or set it up in the bottom. It's so different configurations. You can have images in auto. That's good. No big issue with this, because if you change it to percentage, the image will be squeezed. See? So when you're using images or high quality images, I totally recommend use auto. You can use auto here and see how the image is fitting in the space. But if instead of setting the top, you set edit up to bottom, it will decrease the image automatically from the bottom, see, to the bottom. This is up to you guys, but this is really important to check. Always review your images. Yeah, so I like it better when it's on bottom. Yeah, that looks good. Let's not worry about this view for now, just for now. Okay, so any other questions, Tom, as well? I have moved to the next topic. Andrew?
Okay. Well, there's a couple questions here. Let's see, when you say if it's jumpy, does that mean, let's see, what does jumpy mean and why is it important to be viewing on
Yeah. Okay, so let me move a bit this. Okay. See this movement? If I move to the next view, it will jump a bit. See? and it will not look good on across the devices. If you are using a responsive screen and you start making everything smaller, 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 it will start to jump, and that will not fit good on other devices. It's see it, after I publish, I will show you why this is important. Uh, why is not we don't want it to look jumpy like this. It will not be properly aligned like this. See, it will look better on the publish file. Okay, so if you have two elements that are misaligned, how can you align them to a to a side of your slide? This is simple. Just select one, click shift, and with the press shift, and then you click on your box, and you will use this option to align your text. Let's align this to the left. Yeah, and see what I mean by jumping. How can I fix this? Remember that you have to right click on this and click apply precision properties to all views, and it's where it should be now. Okay, let me show you, let me use this slide to show you a little bit more about the smart positioning of objects. Let me create shapes. You can just copy and paste this shape and use another color. And it's important that you save out this new shape. Let's go with red. Blue. Now we need another one. Let's go with pink. Okay, so I have my elements a bit scattered. So don't worry about this. We're gonna use a smart positioning to keep this aligned, to keep this group. You can always use the grouping option that you select all of your elements, right click on it and group them. But we're gonna use that option for this purpose. For the purpose of this webinar, we're gonna smart position them. And let me show you how this is done. Okay, first thing, select your elements and align them to top. There you go. And you can use these two elements and align them to the right. So we have an even space. Let's move this together. Okay. So can you see these small lines? These lines mean that this is smart aligned, but this is smart aligned to the stage, not to the objects. What is important to a smart position them to the objects instead of the stages? Well, it will make them, it will affect them. Let me show you how it will affect them. It will always follow the object that it's linked, right? Let me show you the next screen. Yeah, I'm not losing the shape. I'm losing the size, but I'm losing the space between them. You can see that the space is the same, is respecting this small space. And you can use here, change this to percent instead of auto. It looks squeezed, but it doesn't matter for now. And you can also move the top and align your bottom objects to the element above, and it will link them better. See, you don't see that big separation that we had before. I had my element linked. So when you're creating interactions, when you are creating gamification or using games. It's important to keep your elements together, and this in responsive is very important to have your elements using with smart positioning. This is very useful tip that I can give you. It's time saving. It's a best practice for Captivate. So don't be scared to use it. Sometimes when you're new with Captivate and these smart position objects, you can be a bit scared, but it's simple. It's actually really simple. What if I don't want to have percentage? I just want to have auto. It will look even better. See, it respects the proportion. As I mentioned before, for me, it's not good on titles, but it looks good on shapes. And looks great. Let me create a new text caption. Okay, so I have text here, but I'm not going to be using the same style because sometimes when you have a course, you have a lot of styles. You have style for text caption, you have style for titles, subtitles. Let me use a different color. Well, some you can see better, like this blue. Okay, you have to create a new style. Let's say caption blue. The naming convention is up to you, but keep it simple. Keep it simple and descriptive, right? Like open sense. So you know better. And let me add some text on this. Okay, paste it. Sometimes this happens. I believe this is like a bit of a bug. It will not change, and you can reset it. You have to make this manually, unfortunately. I hope this fixes this. Okay, but if you change the color, it will show the plus sign now that you can reset your style. Perfect. That's great. Let's see how this is done. Okay, this is good. Looks good. Looks good. Perfect. Okay, let me publish this. Publish. We're gonna go with any e-learning output for now. Let me go to my folder really quick. Webinar. Okay. Let me publish this. I don't wish to see this output yet. I will open it from my folder. This is webinar 3, and I have this file. So I will always open the index file. Okay. This will open my. Okay, I missed something. See this? This is our navigation bar. One thing that I forgot to mention is that if you don't create clicks, it will automatically go to the next slide. And this is important from the beginning because you can add your own navigation to your slides. So let's create really quickly a next arrow. Remember, every time you create a new shape, it will have the default style you created before. So let's change the color of this and let's name it arrow. Okay. And this is still an object. This is not a button. What can you do to make it a button? Well, this is simple. Just click the image and you select in the properties panel and use as a button. It will automatically create a pause break on your button. And this is very important. You go to the timing panel and it says, well, pause after 1.5 seconds. You can change this configuration, but let's leave it that way for now. You can click the state view and you will see the different state when you put the mouse on it. You can, let's go with white or another lighter color like this blue. Okay. And you save it. Since I activated the smart positioning of the new objects that I create, it will automatically go with the smart positioning. Let's see how my arrow looks in the other views. Okay, this is a bit of an issue, right? So this is where I need to see what can I do with my text. If I make it larger on the size and reduce the space, yeah, it looks great. But my arrow is not fixed yet, so I have to fix it to the same position. Apply position properties to all views. And what if I don't want it to make it smaller from the height when I move to the next view? You can switch this, and instead of having here, auto. It will respect the size. It will keep the same size. So this is also really good tip. If you want to keep the size of an element and you don't want it to decrease, you can always set this to auto. This will help you also a lot with your graphics. See, that's better. Okay, let me make this font smaller. It's gonna be a bit of an issue later. Yeah. Perfect. I see what we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so on the themes menu, we have something that is called a skin editor. This window, let me show you, will enable or disable the play bar, the navigation bar. This is up to you guys, but we at e-learning brothers believe that if you create your own, play bar, it will look cooler. So you can create your own navigation system, and you can disable this by clicking Show Playback Control. For the purpose of the webinar, sorry, I will only create one button. Yeah, that's perfect. If you're gonna go with the navigation, a navigation player that is gonna run through all of your course, I suggest you to add the display option for your navigation to be the rest of the project. Instead of copying and pasting this object into your other slides, you can add this property on the tiny panel to be shown for the rest of the project, and it will be always there. This is important when you create your own navigation system. You added this at the very beginning. You add this at the very beginning. Okay, I think we're good for now. Let me publish this again. Taking a bit longer. Yeah. Say no. One sec, guys. There you go. Index. It's loading. Hope this doesn't take long. I want to show you. This happens sometimes. I'll have to republish. Let's say yes. Okay. So see that now it doesn't move to the next slide. Only if I click my button. So what is important to the smart positioning and to have all your elements with the smart position. See, when I start to reduce the size of the screen, you'll see how this looks smooth. It doesn't look jumpy as it was before. Why? Because I set this up to be on the same position with the same with the percentage instead of the automatization. This is why it looks smoother. You will see a bit of a jump here after it goes from tablet portrait mode to the mobile landscape mode. You will see that jump. This is natural. This you don't have to worry, because obviously if you're on a big tablet portrait mode and then you move to your cell phone landscape mode, it will change the position. So you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about this. Okay, I forgot to modify this on my file. For example, we were working on the mobile portrait view. Well, it is important to always prioritize information, right? Because, well, you actually are looking or are studying or seeing your courses or your cell phone because you are in a bit of a hurry. You don't have like a lot of time to take out your laptop or something, but you can have the option to check the information on your cell phone. Well, we can just use some elements. We don't have to use all of our elements. For example, I can move this image off the stage and it will not come up when you are on mobile view. You can also change the way your title or subtitle looks here. This is up to you, but I will prioritize. I'll make this the text or the information more important than images whenever it's possible. You can also move here. Okay. Yeah, let's make this smaller. And yeah, see the arrow? The arrow that I set this up for the rest of the project is still here. And let's publish this again. Hopefully this time will go faster. Oh, I'm using the image. Okay. Let's start reducing it. Oh, see? Okay, this is an issue that you have to fix. If your element is overlapping another element, you have to take back and see where is this issue. See, it's on this view. You have to keep making the text smaller, or you can make your arrow smaller. You will see this. This will come naturally to you. This is, as while you are developing, while you are creating new assets, while you are placing your objects, you will see uh, where to properly place them in order to prioritize information. For example, the text. It will come to you. Yeah, here we don't have this problem. Okay, so what's next? Let me save this.
So Alan, we have a couple questions before you move on.
Please.
One person says, I've had some problems publishing responsive projects within my organization's LMS. The LMS displays content in a fixed ratio, and the responsive project is much too big when it displays, so we get vertical or horizontal scroll bars. Is there a way to get the responsive project to recognize the constraints of the LMS display? We've been stuck with using only regular projects and manually setting the size and not able to use responsiveness.
Yeah, I understand the question. Actually, it's very important to know the capabilities of your LMS. Like if you have like a maximum size or space that you need to create your courses, you have to respect this information. That's why I suggest you to always to doesn't go like bigger or larger with the courses. You go with the standard size. Like for example, this is 24 by 27. You can make this smaller, but this issue. It's because of the size of our screens. Sometimes you use your laptop, sometimes you use your desktop computer, so it will look different, across devices. So my suggestion is to use standard sizes or measures here. You can always go a bit smaller. This will fit better on your LMS. You have to know the capabilities of your learning management system. Yeah, so that's my suggestion here, Andrew.
Okay, another question is, can you put the arrow on the master slide for the next button?
Yes, you can do that.
And then it'll always appear.
Yeah, you can also do that. I don't recommend it much because sometimes you don't want, the master slides. You can have different master slides with different purposes, and maybe you want a slide that doesn't have a navigation. So if you added this to the, you have your arrow on your one master slide, and then you add another master slide, it will disappear because you are not using the actual master slide. So that's why we add the arrow into the very first slide of our course. So that's why, because you have different master slides and it will not respect the other ones.
All right, great. Now we only have 7 minutes left, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
ask one more question and let you wrap up here. But if I captured a software simulation, would I be able to convert it and make it work in a responsive project? And if so, what would that look like?
If you capture a project from what? From where?
So if I let's just say I make a screen grab of me running through a process
Oh, I
or
see.
some simulation of a process, how can we make that work in a responsive
Oh,
design?
yeah, I see. Well, you just have to import that video, uh, whether it's a Flash video or an MP4 video, it will be converted into the Captivate format. Yeah, and it will respect the video. So of course you will have to maybe make it smaller or use the position properties as I show you to make it fit better on the screen. Yeah, but you can do that. Okay, another question. Okay, guys. Okay, let me go to the last part of this webinar. So if you have all of your elements, all of your colors, all of your fonts set up, your titles, your subtitles, your copy, you can create a theme. We're gonna go deep into themes. We can save that for another webinar because it's a bit complex, but you can create a theme from all the elements you use here, the colors you use, everything, and you can add this into a new document. So this is important if you're gonna go with a series of courses. It is important to have this theme created so you don't have to copy paste everything into your new project. It will seem you have to go and save theme as. You can say webinar theme, save tree, same thing. Successfully, you create a new project, let's say responsive project. You can load this theme on your theme panel, themes, go browse. Yeah, you say yes, it will over everything, and you have your elements from your previous course or your previous the theme you created. See this arrow? I had it here, but it shouldn't be here. And that's it. You know, these tips or these tips for best practices. Sometimes when you take over a project or you start a project from scratch, you have to follow some lines, some guides. And if you follow these guides from the very beginning, it will make your development go smoother, guys. This something I suggest you to follow, to be a bit organized. It will help you. It will really help you. I hope this information helps you. And if you have questions or anything else, just let Andrew know, and we'll go to you. We'll get to you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think you have one more image for me, Alan, if you can put that up on the screen. So we do have a ton of unanswered questions here. What we're going to do, because we're out of time, is we will get all of these questions answered in our blog recap, and that'll be posted tomorrow. If you are looking for some starter files in Captivate, some course starters, things like that can help you use some of the information that Alan has talked about today, there's information there on the screen. We're giving away 10 assets, any 10 assets from our library. You can just jump in and grab those with a 7-day free trial. There's information there on the screen, 801-796-2767. If you're interested in grabbing those assets, you can give us a call there, or just go to elearningbrothers.com, and in the top right-hand corner, there's a free trial button. Click on that. We'll get you set up with any 10 assets from our amazing and enormous asset library. So dive into that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much, Alan, for this amazing presentation. Like I said, we'll get this recording on our site, and we'll get all of your questions answered. And we hope we'll see you guys next time in our next webinar. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks for watching this recording of Best Practices for Setting Up Captivate Projects. Subscribe to our channel to get more awesome presentations, ideas, and e-learning videos that can help you become an e-learning rockstar. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment below. And if you haven't already, check out our new free trial and choose any 10 assets from our massive library to download today. Thanks.